Hello everyone and welcome to another game I played on PTCGO. For this match I'm going to be playing the Raichu, Garbodor, Flareon, Dugtrio deck I played a few matches ago. As you can see I'm starting off with Eevee. My opponent reveals Deoxys, so probably a Team Plasma deck. Don't really see why you would play Deoxys in any other deck. Here I'm going to Ultra Ball away a Garbodor and a Flareon. And as you can see, this video is sped up a bit just to get it all in there. And this is the second match I played against the same opponent, and we both used the same decks. The outcome was the same, but I think this one was the more interesting of the two. So I'm showing this one off. So here I'm going to Ultra Ball for a Diglett, just because he's probably going to play Thundurus EX, and he's probably going to try to play it sooner rather than later, and I figured Dugtrio was a good card to play here. So I'm actually going to attach to Eevee. Probably not the best play. I might have been better off playing it to Diglett. But I figure he won't be able to knock Eevee out quite yet, since he started off with Deoxys in the active and needs to get quite a few cards in order to do that. And he's attaching a Muscle Band here, so he's not going to be able to Float Stone. But if he does have a switching card, he might be able to accomplish it. And he's going to actually Tool Scrapper my Silver Bangle that I played on my Diglett. So that's unfortunate, because with it I can one-shot a Thundurus. And then I see him play a Juniper. So obviously not a great hand to start off from him. He's going to bench a Lugia. And he's probably... oh, he actually attaches a DCE onto it and a Muscle Band. He's probably hoping for a Thundurus, but I don't think he'll get it. And then we see a second Deoxys and just a ending of his turn. So here I can retreat Eevee and attack with Diglett potentially by just adding energy, but here I'm just going to use Signs of Evolution. And it looks like one of my Flareons is prized, or at least one, since I play more than just one here in this deck. So I'm not too thrilled about that. It's probably a better card to use in this matchup. Although Leafeon will do quite a bit of damage to a fully powered Lugia EX. So now going into my opponent's turn, he still has Deoxys stuck in the active spot. I'm pretty sure he wants to rush me with Lugia, but I don't think he has a good enough hand to switch out. Here I'm going to Ultra Ball away that Leafeon and that Flareon and get myself a Pikachu, since Lugia and Pikachu don't really mix that well, or Raichu more specifically. I'm going to attach a Fighting Energy onto that. And here I think I'm actually going to Super Rod a Flareon, or actually two Flareons, and a Garbodor. Because Garbodor will be useful for this matchup, and Flareon might be as well. And here I don't have a supporter. It seems like both my opponent and I are stuck. So with Signs of Evolution again, just to give give me more options potentially if I draw into an Ultra Ball. I can discard those cards, as I did the last turn. So now going into my opponent's turn, he's going to Ultra Ball away a Tool Scrapper and a Pokemon Catcher. So he still plays that card, which can be annoying. And he finally gets out of Thundurus. But the big question here will be if he can retreat his active Deoxys and do anything. And it looks like he won't. I fortunately get an energy. I can evolve my Raichu and attach this energy, debating whether or not what exactly to attach it to. And I'm going to go for Raichu even though it already has a fighting energy. And I'm going to use Energy Crush on my Eevee that I just evolved into a Leafeon and hit for 60. And now my opponent is going to play Frozen City. So that's going to hurt me every time my non-Team Plasma Pokemon see an energy card attached to it, which I do play quite a bit of non-Team Plasma Pokemon. I'm going to here play a Serena, or sorry, a Shauna. I get those gals confused. And my opponent I hit my opponent again. Then my opponent uses a Chorus Machine to attach to Deoxys, but still has no way of retreating the active, so I least I thought. Then he reveals a switch, so he must have top decked that or been holding it off until he got Lugia powered up. So now he knocks out my Leafeon and takes 2 prizes, so I'm not too thrilled about that. But I can send up Raichu here, and I'm going to play an N. I could have played that Juniper, but I do want those Garbodors. I only played 2. And I'm going to load up my bench, putting down a Trubbish, then a Dugtrio. It gets evolved. I will level ball for, I think, a Pikachu here, since that might be a useful card. And with that, I actually have enough to knock out this Lugia with Circle Circuit. I can hit for 220, and we can tie it up in terms of prizes. But the fortunate part is my opponent doesn't have any energy on the board, so he sends up Thundurus EX. He can't one-shot me, at least I don't think. But he's going to play a Team Plasma Ball, attach a Prism Energy onto Thundurus, and then pull out a Snorlax. So I can deal with Snorlax with Dugtrio, but that's still an annoying card because he will prevent my free retreat Raichu from free retreating. And then he plays a Juniper, going to put down another Deoxys and a Thundurus, and attach a Muscle Band. And that's bad news for me, since maybe he can knock me out here, but he's contemplating here. So right now he can do 60 plus 20, that's 80. He's 10 short, so if he needs a laser potentially, but I don't know if this variant plays it, because he does play Frozen City. He normally plays lasers with Verbank, or maybe he plays both. So he can't hit the knockout, or he can't get the knockout here. He's just going to hit me for 80. That is enough to severely cripple me, but I, fortunately enough, top deck a Fighting Energy. I can attach this to Dugtrio. I can retreat Raichu here and use its attack, but I'm going to attach a Floatstone onto a Trubbish, and then I get a Garbodor here. So this is a tough choice here. I can evolve into Garbodor, but that would turn off Mr. Mime's bench barrier ability, and that would actually make it so I knock out my own Raichu on the bench when I use Earthquake. So instead here I'm going to use Circle Circuit on Raichu, acknowledging the fact that he can probably knock it out very easily, and I want to coax him into leaving it up in the active so I can take it out the next turn with Dugtrio. So I'm not sure if this was the best play here, but I kind of want to not shut off my abilities until I've used Earthquake. So my opponent used Roller Skate here. It looks like he failed the flip, and then he's going to use a Random Receiver, then a Bicycle. So here he's drawing through his deck really quickly, and then a Dowsing Machine, discarding an Escape Rope and a Plasma Energy to reveal a Tool Scrapper. So this is probably sort of why it's probably a good move that I didn't evolve Garbodor yet, since he did get that Tool Scrapper. But he does play an N, which is unfortunate. And he's going to knock out Raichu. And I no longer have a tool in hand, so I don't have that option. So I guess this, as I said before, this deck involves a careful consideration of all the options, since you have a myriad of attackers you can potentially choose from, since it's sort of a toolbox deck in that way. I'm going to send up Dugtrio to the active spot, attached to Raichu, and doing damage because of Frozen City. Here I can Ultra Ball to the Eevee and the Escape Rope to try to get something else here. I think I'm going to go for Flareon here. Attach it, play down Flareon, and then I'm going to Juniper. So I do get a Garbodor this time, and I will evolve. Don't have a tool in play, and I kind of don't want it, just because I do want to use Earthquake, and I want to prevent the bench damage to my Pokemon with Mr. Mime. But if he sends up something, I can prevent the Deoxys Power Connect additional damage by just attaching a tool to Garbodor and modifying my strategy that way. So he's actually going to send up a Snorlax, and it can use Team Pact here as he attaches another DCE, and this is enough for the knockout. But I may be able to return the knockout if I can get a Dugtrio, which looked likely until he ended me and gave me a terrible hand. So this isn't good. Then he's going to roller skate, but he fails that, fortunately. But here, the team pack for the knockout. It's kind of devastating here because I have such a terrible hand. I can't really respond. I am going to send up Diglett, I think. But I really, if I don't draw a card, whatever thing I send up is a sacrifice. And I really blew it here. I drew a DCE, which isn't what I needed. I will attach a DCE to Flareon, bench a Pikachu, and just end my turn here. So he's going to be able to knock out my Diglett, and it looks like he's going to go for a catcher though. And what will he go for? I'm not really sure, since Diglett is actually the thing that can knock him out the easiest. And it looks like he's going to go for Raichu, so it's kind of odd since he doesn't have any Lugia in play right now. So he plays an energy down on Deoxys, it looks like, and then he's going to Bicycle and knock out Raichu. So here, once again, I can send up something to sacrifice, but I don't have that option. I think he has one prize to go. I'm going to send up Flareon and hoping for a miracle, and I don't get it. So here I have a Silver Bangle, which isn't going to do any additional damage. So I will just put it on Garbodor as a last-ditch effort, and Vengeance for 130, which is enough to knock out a Snorlax and then take a prize. But here I leave myself wide open for a knockout because, well, Flareon is very weak, and it's not sort of the thing you want to leave active, waiting on your opponent to choke. So here my opponent is sort of contemplating what to send up. He's probably going to be Thundurus. I don't see a way to send up a Deoxys at this point. I have turned off abilities here, so my only hope is that he doesn't draw an energy or, I don't know, have a way of knocking me out immediately. But yeah, he takes quite a bit here. Again, probably contemplating his options, and he actually sends up Deoxys. So if he can get an energy, he might be able to pull something off. It looks like he's going to go for roller skates. He might be looking to hit the Tool Scrapper again. Probably plays multiples. He plays down a fourth Deoxys here. So Power Connect doesn't stack on Deoxys' attacks, but it looks like he had a bigger play in mind here. He's going to use Escape Rope. And here, honestly, I'm not sure what to send up. Pikachu has 60 HP. I'm going to send it up. But if he has a Tool Scrapper, he wins right here. So that's what I'm afraid of. I could have sent up Diglett, and that might have been the better play. But without energy, I'm really stuck either way. So here my opponent already played his Dowsing Machine, so he can't get a Tool Scrapper out of the discard pile. But the big thing is here, if he plays multiples of that card, which most Team Plasma decks like to do, just because Garbodor is really a thorn in their side, or if he does ultimately play lasers. But it looks like he's actually going to go play a Juniper here. So he's running through his entire deck here. So if he can't win it here, he's actually going to deck himself out, which is an interesting way to go since it's such a close match here. And is actually going to come down to a Muscle Band. So he draws that, and that'll actually be enough if he can find the Tool Scrapper. If he can't, then all he can do is 50 damage, and that'll leave him 10 short of winning the entire game, because all I need to do now is pass my turn and force him to deck out and win that way. So not a great way to win, but definitely an interesting matchup. And I think, as I said, the last one was fairly similar in results, but I hope you guys enjoyed watching this nonetheless, this non-EX deck taking out Team Plasma.